What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today with a review for How to Get Away with Murder. This is season 6, episode 11. So, 4 more episodes, you guys. 4 more episodes. You know, one thing I want to say Shonda, Peter, all of them over there at Shondaland, they are doing the damn thing with these episodes. Last week's episode was good. This week's episode was good. This is wrapping up better than what Power did, because Power's ending sucked ass. I have to say, How to Get Away with Murder is ending pretty nicely for me. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into this episode review. All right, you guys. So, I think this might be a long review. So, sit back, grab a snack, enjoy the ride. So, we open up the episode. The episode, it opens up with Annalise in jail. I said that twice. And she hears his baby crying. So she's calling for the guards to come and take, somebody to check on that baby. So, she's bamming on the cell, like trying to get somebody to come help her. But it opens up and Annalise goes out into the walk area. And as she's going out there, someone grabs her by her ankle and is pulling her back. So she's not able to get to the baby. So then we see Annalise is actually in her bed, and her mom, played by Cicely Tyson, is right beside her. And she also has an ankle monitor on her. So she calls Tegan, and it's 3 in the morning. Ooh, excuse me, y'all. So then we go back 1 week earlier, and we see Annalise. She's at her arraignment, and we find out what she's been charged with. So the charges are not what you would think they are. The murder of Sam Keating, Denver, all the murders. They're actually charging her with possession of a fake ID and passport forgery. And I'm like, wow. And even the judge like, so that's all you guys are going to charge her for? They're like, yeah. And the judge asked her, so what do you say, Miss Keating? So she pleads not guilty. She wants to be released against her own recognizance. So the AUSA is saying, no, we don't want that. She's a flight risk, and we want her on house arrest. And Annalise is like, but I have a mother who has dementia, so that's not gonna work for me. So then we see Annalise, and she's talking to Tegan, and she asks Tegan, does she feel like she should countersue for suppression of evidence and argue that the government is hiding her real charges? And Tegan says, Annalise, what I think you need to do is stop, think, and don't poke the bear. So then Annalise says, well, what about a bill for motion of particulars? And Tegan is like, the same particulars that could land you in prison for life? Again, Annalise, think about this long and hard before you do it. And Tegan says, no matter what you do, Annalise, I'm here for you. I got your back. So then the next morning, Annalise wakes up. So she goes out to where her mom is. And her mama is getting rid of anything that has alcohol in it. Like she was getting rid of the mouthwash. And Annalise is like, I need that stuff. So then her mama comes up with a suggestion that, she's like, you know what we should do? Anime, we should get a cat. And we should put that ankle monitor on the cat. That way, the cat never leaves here. So it's basically like you're always here. Annalise tells, you know what, mama, I'm gonna call my sister and I'm gonna tell her, she says she'll call her sister and tell her to come get her. Her mom says, no ma'am, I am not going any such a where. I'm standing right here with you, Anime. So let's pause here and keep going. Alright, you guys, so let's move over to the kids. So Oliver, he's making some snickerdoodles that Asher used to make. Unfortunately, the snickerdoodles are nasty, because I'm assuming he said he may put too much baking soda or baking powder in it. And they're doing this in honor of Asher because they're not allowed to go to his funeral. I'm assuming because of that crazy ass sister of Asher's. So wrong person. Connor is looking at his phone, and Michaela says, yeah, they haven't reached out to me either. No, excuse me, y'all. And Oliver trying to figure out, what are you guys talking about? Why would they reach out to you guys? They told you guys to stay put. They're like, because they haven't set a trial date at this point for Annalise, And, they're worried that Annalise might find a way out of this because they do know who Annalise Keaton is. So then we see Annalise, and she's with Frank and Bonnie, and she's telling them that they need to file a bill of particulars, and if they do need any help, to reach out to Tegan. And Frank was like, so you're trusting Tegan now? And Annalise was like, yes, I do trust Tegan. And Bonnie was like, the same way you trusted the kids, but, yeah. So, yeah, she said, the same way you trusted the kids, but look at where we are now. So, yeah. So then, Bonnie was a little bit upset, and she says, you know what, I'll take care of it, and I'll also go to Asher's funeral. And Frank was like, I'll take care of her. So then we saw Chloe, Asher's annoying sister, and she's, she was at Asher's place getting some stuff for his funeral, and she went over to New West's. And, he says that he had nothing to do with it. And then she calls his phone. She's like, yeah, Asher called me from this phone the night he died. And then we flash back to Asher asking, New West, could he use his phone? And, remember he said he would pay him, he would give him the check that Annalisa gave him. And New West was like, nah, you don't have to give me that check. He says, here, take it as collateral. But before that happened, and before he gave him the phone, New West asked him, was what he saw on the news true about Old West? And Asher was like, about the Sam situation. He says, honestly, I don't know. He says, well, goodbye. He says, I don't know because I wasn't there when it happened. But he says about West. He says, the West that I knew, he wouldn't, he couldn't kill a man. So New West says, well, so he must have had help. He says, he must have, but I don't know anything about it. Like, nothing. I don't get why he's so... I just don't understand why New West is so fixated on Sam. I mean, because you saw Sam once, now you're fixated on him. Sam was not Father of the Year, but God, I don't understand what his fixation is with Sam. Sperm donor. Moving on. All right, you guys. So then we see Asher. So Asher called his sister, and she told him, "Hey, they know everything. They found out." And she says, "Okay, Asher. Well, Asher," she says, "Well, the deal is so good with the FBI, right?" He was like, "Not necessarily, because unfortunately, I was supposed to give the FBI some information. I haven't been able to give the FBI anything, so I have nothing." And she tells him, "Okay, well, I'm gonna get a car, and I'll have to come get you." He says, but he was talking about graduation. She's like, "No, hold on. I'll text you when the car is on its way." He says, "Okay." So then we flash back to the present where she's talking to New West. So she asks New West, why didn't he tell the FBI? Why did he lie to the FBI? And he says, because, he didn't feel like the FBI needed to know that information. And also, a year ago, the FBI did frame him, for something that he didn't do. And he says, I can show you court transcripts. And he says, also, Asher was informing against Annalise Keating. And so I'm pretty positive Annalise had something to do with this. So then she tells him that, I know you had the phone. I know that, Asher called me from your phone because it was the FBI who told me that, this happened. So then we see Bonnie. She's talking to Frank, and she's questioning Frank about, Asher did what he did to protect himself. Connor and Michaela are protecting themselves. Why aren't we protecting ourselves? And she says that they need to come up with a plan. And Frank is like, no, we're good. So then she asks him the question, so what if Laurel comes back and Laurel says all the things that you wanted to hear from her? What then? Frank says, I'm going to pick you. I'm like, I don't know if that's true, Frank. I really don't believe you, buddy. I feel like if Laurel and her eyebrows, shout out to Roxanne, came back, I feel like you would pick Laurel and her eyebrows. Just putting it out there. I really feel that Frank would choose Laurel and leave Bonnie in the dust. I really feel like that. Let's move on. All right, so over at Annalise's place, now her phone was ringing, and it was Robert calling, and her mom was like, so who is Robert? She said, Mama, mind your business. So Annalise also tells her that she's going to meet up with the judge. And you know, her mom, like I said, her mom was snooping, so she knows about this whole situation with what she was talking about Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie and Frank, and she's telling them like you shouldn't trust them. And Bonnie, I mean, Annalise like, but I do trust them, Mama, and because she said that they're shady, and she asked her, so where's Nathaniel? And you know, her mom was like, Annalise was like, at this point, Nate is the last person to help her. And, you know, she also tells Annalise that she needs a lawyer. And Annalise like, Mama, I am a lawyer. I'm my lawyer. She's like, what about that lesbian that you went to law school with? Annalise was like, her name is Eve, Mama. And then, you know, she tells her about, you know, her and Eve having a relationship before Sam. So then we see Michaela. So Michaela is telling the boys that it's happening, that Annalise filed a motion to get a list of her future charges. And then she'll know everything that she's been charged for, you know, Sam's murder and everything else. And she'll figure out that it's them because the only testimony would come from people that were there. And the only people who are left that were around them and Laurel. And we don't know where Laurel is, so it's you two. So then we see Annalise, she's in front of the judge and she's pleading her case. Now, the AUSA, on the other hand, doesn't want that to happen. So then Tegan steps in and tells the judge, like, you need to take her side. And the judge was like, are you her counsel? And it was like, Annalise was like, she's my co-counsel. And she, you know, the judge was like, well, you know, I'm looking through these papers and I don't see her name anywhere on here. Tegan's like, the paperwork is going to be filed today, and you know, with the court. So then Tegan and Annalise head home, and you know, they celebrating. And then Annalise is like, telling Tegan, so you know, your first order of duty is to babysit my mom. So then she starts to look around. She's like, wait a minute, my mama not here. So you know, she starts to freak out. All right, you guys. So I'm gonna pause right here. One, my eyes are hurting, so I need to take a little bit of a break, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, you guys, so let's talk about Asher. So Asher, he got a text from Chloe telling him that the ride was about 15 minutes away. So then Asher starts to record himself. So then we see New West. So New West went down to the FBI's office and he gave them the phone. So then the FBI agent, he was like, so I'm assuming Ms. Millstone must have told you about this. And he said that, you know, that was the last time that he actually saw Asher until he called them and told them that he found him dead. So then we see Annalise, and she, like I said earlier, her mom, she didn't know where she was. So she was freaking out about her. And then she kind of comes to a stopping point, and she thinks. And she calls Nate. Nate tells her she's right here with me, so she's fine. And so Ms. Ophelia asked Nate, why are you not by, you know, Anna Mae's side? And she tells him, like, you know, she could have, you know, last year around Christmas time, she could have, you know, turned you in, but she didn't. And now here you are not helping her. Like, why is that? And then, you know, Ms. Ophelia brings up the fact about his dad. She says, I know that you're angry about that, but the pain that you are, you know, dishing toward Anna Mae, you shouldn't be doing that. You know, you really should not be doing that. And like she read him up and down. Like she read him like a good old book. So then we see the kids. Now the kids are watching this terrible music video that Asher made. I think it was called Bye Felicia. And, you know, Connor is kind of second guessing himself about what he's done now. And Michaela's like, no, don't do that. Like, you know, when we wanted to turn ourselves in 3 years ago, who told us not to? So for the first time in 3 years, we're doing the right thing by choosing ourselves. I'm like, are you sure about that, Michaela? Are you 100% positive or sure about that? Because I don't think you are. But let's move on. All right, you guys. So, Nate, he took Miss Ophelia home. And I'm having to redo this because I caught a cramp the last time I tried to record this. So, he took Miss Ophelia home, and Annalise showed him her ankle monitor. And she's like, yeah, you know, oh shit, y'all. She's like, you want to gloat? Go ahead and gloat, Nate. And Nate told her, like, you know, I want to feel bad for you, but I just don't. I'm like, well, damn, Nate. And Ms. Ophelia is telling Annalise while they're in bed that night that she thinks that she got through to Nate. I'm like, okay, Ms. Ophelia. And so then her mama is talking. So her and her mom talking about this whole, her and Eve situation. They're talking about her past with men, how it ain't been the best. And then Ms. Ophelia, was talking about her. Was Clyde her uncle or what? I can't remember what Clyde was to her. But you guys know he did what he did to her, and she just wonders, if maybe that's the reason why Annalise has such bad dealings with men, and she got with a woman. I don't know. I don't. That's a touchy. That's a touchy subject. So I don't really know. But she asked Annalise is she a lesbian. Annalise says she doesn't know. She's confused. And then she also asked her if she loved Eve. She says I loved Eve and Eve loved me, but I was just scared. So then let's talk about Michaela. So Michaela is with the boys. She says Annalise won her motion. And, we see Annalise with Frank and Bonnie. So they're going over everything that the FBI wants to charge her with, which all leads back to Operation Bonfire. So, she texts the kids to meet up. So Michaela calls the FBI, telling the FBI that Annalise wants them to meet up. And the FBI tells them, well, go ahead, meet up with her. And they're apprehensive about doing it. So then the kids do text Annalise back, and Frank is like, so what excuse did they come up with? She says, none. They'll be here within an hour. So then we see Asher. So Asher finishes recording, and then he went to the door, and whoever he let in, he knew who they were. So whoever killed Asher, he definitely knew them. And okay, so then we also saw that New West, he was in his apartment, and he overheard everything that's happening. So he went to the door and he put his ear to it, but then he got on the ground, he looked, under the door, and he could see everything that was going on. So then he calls his mom, but Vivian doesn't answer the phone, so it goes to voicemail. All right, you guys. So the kids, they are over at Annalise's house, and Ms. Ophelia is talking to them. She's telling them she made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for them, and Annalise got a little swing set outside that they can play with. I'm like, does Ms. Ophelia believe these are actual kids, or is this act? And the kids had the same reaction. Well, actually, Michaela said, is this an act? And Oliver's like, no, she actually has dementia. So Annalise comes out, she gets her, and she tells Miss Sophia to go to the room. So then, Annalise is talking to these kids, and for the life of me, I don't understand why these kids have basically, sold out Annalise when she is the one person that has protected them this entire time. And this is a message you guys made. So if you guys had, let me talk, so Michaela, when she was talking about earlier in the episode that they should have went to the FBI 3 years ago, or the police, you guys would all be facing a murder rap. I mean, you are now, but I mean, God, you've gotten away with it from this long. I mean, at some point, someone got sloppy. I don't know where, but I mean, I think where we got sloppy at was with Denver and with what was the woman that Asher killed? I can't remember her name right now. What was her name? What was that chick's name that Asher killed? Sinclair. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's where we really got mostly Sinclair. That was the sloppiest of them all. When Asher just ran over Sinclair. Like, that was the sloppiest of them all. But again, like I say, I don't know why these kids feel like they need to turn on Annalise when Annalise has been the one person that has protected them this entire time. And again, like I said last week, Annalise ain't killed nobody, so I don't understand the situation with these kids. So Annalise says that, Asher turned on them, and they might be, they may at some point decide to turn on her. So Michaela asks her, why shouldn't they? And Annalise says, because if you turn on me, I'll turn on you guys. And then we'll have to explain to, the press, everything. And basically why, I was, trying to protect you guys from your own mistakes. And Oliver says, well, you ran away. And Emily says, you know what, you're right, I did run away. She says, I ran away because I was dumb, scared, and not thinking straight. Oh, and did your daddy tell you that I got caught up by the FBI because of him? And Michaela looked a little shocked. So Connor asked her, what is the plan? Will she rat them out? She says, no, I have no intentions of ratting you guys out. And then she tells Bonnie that, they straight up lied to my face. And, Bonnie tells her that, she shouldn't be surprised. And Annalise says, well, I'm not saying that I am surprised. And, so Annalise asks Bonnie, where were you that night? And Bonnie says that, actually, no, Annalise says, where were you that night? Because I came for you. And Bonnie says, well, I came to your apartment to tell you that Asher was the informant. And Annalise asks her, well, Bonnie, I know what you've done. And Bonnie says, it wasn't me, Annalise. And honestly, at that point, I believed her. So then we see Tegan. So Tegan is down to the AUSA, and she's trying to cut down some of the charges. So, she's talking about, there's one about computer stuff. And she's like, hey, you saw the way she types? No. And then, something about racial something, ethnic, I forgot what it was. And she's like, I think you had that reversed. And then she said, it's arson. Annalise's house burned down, and that was, proven by, the fire department that it was because of a gas leak. She says, oh, that's not what we're talking about. So then she shows her the picture of Annalise's childhood home burning, and then we see Tegan talking to Annalise about this, and she tells her, like, if there's anything you want to tell me, Annalise, tell me. And then Annalise is like, wait a minute, how did they even get this? And she figures it out. Nate gave it to him, and Ms. Ophelia was there, and she said that S.O.B. I'm like, oh, Ms. Ophelia is pissed like it ain't shit. Like, Ms. Ophelia was mad. So then, we see Annalise and her mama talking, and then once again talking about, the men in Annalise's life, and how, number one, Annalise doesn't need to protect Nate, and then Ms. Ophelia blames herself for what happened to Annalise with Clyde. And Annalise is telling her, like, mama, you were out working 2 jobs because daddy left us, so don't blame yourself. And then, Ms. Ophelia tells Annalise that, that baby that you keep hearing in your dreams, that you're trying to protect, that baby is you, because you didn't feel like you had the parent that you just rightfully deserved. And she tells her, like, going forward, you don't need to worry about trying to protect Nate or those kids, because you're not their mother. The only person that you need to worry about protecting at this point is you. And I'm like, what, Ms. Ophelia? We agree. Annalise needs to protect, number one, herself. Let's move on. All right, you guys. So the kids, they're over at Asher, Laurel's, and Old West's place. So New West knocks on the door, and they're like, let's pretend like we're not here. It's like, I can hear you guys. So then they let him in. He asked them, how did you guys even get in here? And Michaela says, well, I used Laurel's keys. Laurel's key. She was like, yes, Laurel lived here before Asher lived here. And it was, Michaela was like, when it comes down to you, New West, I know from experience that you're not a light sleeper. Maybe I should go to the FBI and tell them that. And then we see New West, so he goes to the FBI, and he tells them that he needs to submit his statement, and because he knows who killed Asher. And then he says that it was Laurel. I'm like, Laurel? What the fuck would Laurel have to kill Asher for? Laurel? Laurel killed Asher. So then we see Bonnie. So Bonnie, it's Bonnie, Frank, and Annalise, and they're talking. Bonnie says that she should have knew that it was Nate and what he did, because Nate told her that he was done with them, and Annalise says, yeah, he told me the same thing. Frank wants to get to, to Nate, and Liz is like, no, let him be. We can't let him know what we know. And then she also tells Frank and Bonnie that they need to save themselves, and they say no. And I'm sorry, I know she said mother, and they bleeped it, but did she actually say motherfuckers? Because the screen went black and came back to her, because she's like, we gotta surprise these motherfuckers. I'm like, oh shit, Annalise, get it. So then we see the FBI. So the FBI calls the kids, And he sends them they send him a video that Asher made before he died. The video that he was recording throughout this episode. So actually, Asher was telling him how much he loved them, how Connor changed his whole perspective on gay people, and then he goes to the door, and we see this woman. He lets her in, and it's someone that he knows. And I was like, and then they flash back. It was that woman, which I thought she worked for Xavier, because they showed her when she went to Annalise's place, talking about when she knocked on her door. I'm like, wait a minute. So who is this woman? So then we see New West. New West is at the police station and with the FBI, and the man, he calls his partner in, and then this is where we start to see we saw the woman when she was going to town on Asher's head. And when she walked in, New West looked at her, and he saw. And so then we flash back to when Asher got killed, and he saw the woman walking down the stairs, and she has a piercing right here, and in the scene that she's in now with New West, her hair is not covering her ear, and you can see she has the same piercing, and I'm like, oh, to the shit, she's the one that killed Asher. So then New West goes over there to the kids. He tells them he knows who killed Asher. And he tells them it was the FBI. And I'm like, the FBI killed, so they killed their own informant? Wow. And then y'all just laid in bed with the devil, huh? You gotta feel stupid, don't you? But you guys, that was how to get away with murder. So be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else. Share this video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.